At this time, I would like to say, I am proud to be an American. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. We're going to talk about defense teams for 3v3 this coming season. We've all forgotten all of them, and it's going to be great to explore this. 3v3 is kind of a weird one because you want to keep a lot of your defense or a lot of your Galactic Legends for offense, and because you need that offensive flexibility and the tools available to them, and it can be tough to find defensive teams if you're just if you want that flexibility, if you're putting that at an all-time premium, it's very difficult to find good, solid teams that you also don't miss while you're on offense. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is all the defensive teams and a couple Galactic Legends that may fit into your defensive paradigm. It's a really cool thing. Or not. It's cool to be able to use the word paradigm in context, however. Bet you didn't think that was going to happen to you today, and it probably still hasn't. You should go out and use the word paradigm. Go do it, guys. Go do it now. Pause this. Go use paradigm somewhere, and then come back and watch the video. All right? Whoa, madness. We're in the game. We didn't even click into the different tab here. There we are. Defense, folks. Defensive teams. We're keeping our Galactic Legends on this list, and actually I think that I have my Lord Vader comp at the very bottom of this, because I transferred it at the last minute thinking, oh, he's actually better on defense. However, Rey is in a weird place right now. We don't have Ben Swolo yet, and so she's not going to be firing on all cylinders again, but she is also she doesn't have a good Datacron anymore. Her amazing Datacrons are all just gone, and so she doesn't do crazy damage on her ult. She doesn't do her ult really fast. She's kind of left in the lurch. You could put the 25% turn meter gain cron on her, I guess. I mean, that's probably, if you have something that keeps her alive for longer, you could probably make her really frustrating if you put a ton of dodge on her, actually. In fact, I say that and I'm like, oh yeah, that seems really irritating. So, you can do that with the current set of Datacrons because she's survivable, and if you make it so that you can barely hit her, that's even more obnoxious and amazing. That being said, she's still decent on defense. I like her on offense too. She's pretty versatile. She's always been one of my favorite GLs, to be honest. The only reason we don't farm her is because the people we have to farm that go alongside her are pretty trash. General Skywalker on defense, I mean, he's kind of been solved a little bit. In 3v3 he's tougher to take out because teams like the Grand Inquisitor, which I realize not a ton of people have access to him, except if they're in Kyber 1 or 2 kind of range. I know that people in other places have him, but typically that's where you face him. I just tend to face him a lot, and Grand Inquisitor has a tougher time in 3s to take him out. I like 5s and Rex with him best because you can make Rex super fast with a turn meter cron, and this team, I mean, if you can go first, it's really good. You can also use this on offense to take out some Darth Malgus comps, though. I mean, it's tough to tell what takes out Darth Malgus now because we didn't have 3v3 with Malgus's Datacron, and that cron is really stinking good. However, even back then, General Skywalker, I mean, he took out Malgus at a decent clip, but not every comp, and I mean, I think it was only like 70%, and so I think we're going to end up killing Darth Malgus with other teams, and General Skywalker on defense, we'll have to see how he ends up doing. I mean, there were just fewer counters to him in 3s, and with the good Datacron. He doesn't have the stun cron anymore, though. Datacrons are so weird that way. They're always changing things. Darth Malgus with Darth Revan and Basti. Now, if you don't have Malgus, which I know a lot of you don't actually, though, he was actually he was unlocked at a higher rate than TIE Interceptor was. People really prioritized him. And That means that there are more of them. If you don't have Darth Malgus, though, put Malak here. Darth Revan, of course, is lead, but use the full bastard Darth Revan team, because anything different is Wampa food. Just Wampa eats Darth Revan if Darth Malak, the jawless man, isn't protecting him. Now, Darth Malgus also may not have a chin. We're not sure, but he's good enough here. Keep in mind, you know, the Omicrons are going to make a difference. And honestly, guys, people tell me that they don't think that moves the needle to go from relic like 7 or 8 to 9 on Malgus. With the current Datacron that he has, it makes an enormous difference, because it does damage based on his max health, which his max health is greatly increased going from 8 to 9. Just keep that in mind, folks. It spams that ability over and over again. The more relic, and he's going to, in 3s, that sort of thing is magnified by a huge margin as well, because he gets to take more turns. He's going to be more dominant. He's much more GL-like in 3s, probably, I think. We'll have to find out. Admiral Raddus on defense in 3s is much stronger in a lot of ways than Admiral Raddus is in 5s, because in 5s he has one really obvious weakness, which is the Bad Batch. Now, if the Bad Batch can't take him out, which it's a lot riskier, a lot dicier for Bad Batch to take out a high relic Admiral Raddus team, then if you don't have the right counter, he dies. He can't be zerged down. It is very, very difficult. I lost at least one match last season because Admiral Raddus just totally cock-blocked me. So the best, if you look at the stats from last season, K2SO was the best one because he really messed with like Wampa attempts and everything. He also stopped a lot of other counters. Now, if you want to use like bounty hunters with Mando, that's not a foolproof thing. People kind of represent it as that. Bounty hunt, like that can work. However, K2SO does shut it down sometimes as well. This is probably your highest percentage. Now, I realize you don't have K2SO geared necessarily. And if you don't have him geared, the second best option, you want a tank. And so Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, I realize some people don't have him either, but those are the two that I would highly recommend for a Raddus team on defense. Otherwise, he does okay on offense anyways. I mean, he can do well. I do like him on defense, though, because he's not, like, Bad Batch are pretty dicey against him. A lot of their tools are kind of just compromised, and if Raddus can get his ult, it gets messy. So, alright, the next two, I think, are the two that, I mean, so first off, Iden Versio with Stormtrooper on her own, on offense, on their own, undersize a ton of teams for max banners. It's crazy. Like, she's one of the reasons you don't want to put Commander Luke on defense anymore, because she just runs the table with just her and Stormtrooper getting max banners. However, and then she turns around and gets destroyed by Wampa, and so it seems like a no-brainer to keep her on offense. And frankly, I probably will keep her on offense sometimes. However, the thing is, the other team that people really like to Wampa is Sortie, and Sortie doesn't have a great comp to, I mean, if you mod her for a ton of health, that's your best defense against Wampa soloing you. And if that doesn't work, I mean, if Wampa can't take this team out, then, I mean, awesome. But if they don't want to use that, there are a few other comps. Sortie's not amazing. She's great in 5s. In 3s, she just lacks as much substance. Like, one of the amazing things about her is her overwhelming number of first turns, you know, to be able to use like BB-8 and get everyone up to, you know, 1,000 speed and take that first turn, do all the AoEs and get the momentum. And the second the momentum shifts, it goes really poorly for her. She has less momentum in 3s, so keep in mind, she's good in 3s, but she's not amazing. She's not transcendent. 3s is not the reason you put relics on her. 5s is, and Conquest, frankly, is as well. She does a lot of good stuff in a lot of different modes. 3v3, she does fine. Thing is, people like to use Wampa on her, and if you wanted to use that combination, you could put Sortie up front in your front zone, have someone use their Wampa on your Sortie, and you get sad because they get, you know, whatever it is, 59 banners or something like that. Then they go to the back and they can't kill Iden with something really easily. They have to find something good. That combo is really strong, actually. Trying to bait someone out because Wampa can only be used on one team. And if you get soloed by something up front in order to make someone fail in the back zone, it's probably worthwhile, I would think. Now, Starkiller on defense is going to be interesting. I'm not sure how it's going to interact with the new set of Datacrons, because if you do the cooldown reduction with Palp and Mara, it may end up that they spam a lot of moves that are actually Starkiller unfriendly, because you want them to do a fair number of basics so that Starkiller keeps getting called to assist, and if they just spam their specials, it's going to make him assist fewer times, which means he's going to get his ult in less time, or it'll take him longer to get his ult, rather. So on defense, though, this team does pretty well. Honestly, if people don't exactly know how to counter it still, I've discovered, even really good players are just like, oh, wow, you put Starkiller down. I don't think I have a counter to that. It's a very good team. I'd really be interested to see how Malgus takes it out. I want to start seeing people use Malgus on offense, guys. If he can take a lot of teams out on defense, think how well he could do on offense. But I'm not going to be the first to do it, so you'll have that. Now, Grand Inquisitor, if you have Inquisitors, I mean, so if you don't have Grand Inquisitor, which is the majority of you, probably just keep the team for offense, then never use it, frankly. I mean, if you need a filler team, you could do worse than Inquisitors, but they don't even have their cool stun cron anymore, and in 3s, it wasn't as good anyways. I put it on defense, it's kind of a filler. You know, with Grand Inquisitor, you can make them pretty quick, and then with the new cool Datacrons, if you have one of the cooldown reduction ones from level 6, this team can do really well because spamming their specials is really strong. And, you know, I like Seventh Sister as the third just because she's kind of Wampa. She's a Wampa deterrent at the very least because she has an undispellable daze and ability block, which can work. I don't think that this team can really be protected from Wampa anymore, just because they don't have the cool stun cron. But this team can do okay. I mean, it's kind of a filler team at this point, especially at the relic levels I have them on. You probably want higher relic levels, but I'm saving these relic levels on them steadfastly so we can make a guide once the event comes out again. Now, we have General Grievous with the leftover droids. You could put Droidica on one of these slots. This isn't a good defensive team. You'll get a hold every once in a while, and you'll be like, whoa, did not see that coming, because he doesn't do much. In 3s, he's kind of just a weird character. Like, he's amazing in 5s. He's one of my very favorite teams in 5s. In 3s, he's like, he like coughs a lot, and you're like, wow, you are ill. You need to go to bed. Instead, you throw him on defense, hoping that someone will just put him out of his misery for you. He's just really not that great in 3s, but so he'll steal a banner here and there, for sure, and sometimes people will be like, oh, I'm taking bounty hunters, and he's like, no, you're not, and then they do, and then sometimes he dies, but sometimes he actually just kills them dead. That happened to me the other day, or like the other 3v3 season. I was like, what just happened? I can't believe I lost with bounty hunters. That very, very rare that happens, but it can. Now, this Quigon team is really, really fancy, guys. And to be honest, if you want to, so this team is okay in 3, at slower speeds. If you can make them faster than your opponent can do their bad batch, that's the real trick to success here, folks. This team has legs. It really takes out a lot of things. Your Qui-Gon needs to be faster than Ki-Adi-Mundi. Keep in mind that Ki-Adi-Mundi, with his Zeta and Qui-Gon's lead and Ki-Adi-Mundi's stance, gets plus 80 speed. Anakin and Qui-Gon get plus 60 speed. If Qui-Gon can be 1 speed faster than Ki-Adi-Mundi, and they're faster than Anakin, but they're all faster than Bad Batch, then look out. This team really, really wrecks on defense. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't know what's going to happen when we get the turn meter cron taken away, but right now, this team is just crazy amazing. Lots and lots of holds with that team. the Jedi Training Ray team. So I want to try something different here, folks. Nothing really works with her that well. I really like the idea of Watt with her because he assigns the taunt to her, and she's really tough to hit and to do damage to because of her perpetual foresight and all the turn meter she gains from her unique and everything. And then some kind of damage dealer. You can do, like, traditionally I've put Scavenger Ray in there. That works really well. I like Veteran Han, though. I've kind of been working on him. And honestly, if you get his cool Datacron where he just ramps up his damage, this could be a really cool combo. I don't know if I'll get that Kron in time, but it would be really fun. And on defense, if you're not using Watt with Maul or something, you don't necessarily need him anywhere. On defense, this can work really nicely. Now, Fin Poe is probably a little bit out of date, frankly. You can put, if your hero Finn doesn't have the turn meter Kron and he's not super fast, I mean, it's still, people know how to counter it at this point. It did a lot of damage because Finn gives him an extra 60% damage. And that works, I guess, because, you know, they're passing around turns and stuff. However, there's just a lot of, it's a known team by now. People have been countering it for lots of seasons. Still okay on defense if you need something. You'd really want a fast hero Finn in that case, however, which mine is not, by the way. But that's a team you could consider at least. Now, Maul with Canderous and Bo-Katan. The reason you want this is because if you don't take Bo-Katan, the Nest can solo almost every Maul team out there. And it's crazy how effective that is, because Nest just keeps getting hit with small hits and she's not getting one shot. The problem is Nest does not like this team with Bo-Katan because they heal so much because of out of turn attacks, and so Nest doesn't end up getting that many turns, and she doesn't end up getting to do enough damage to take them out. They don't generate enough buffs to really ramp her up anyways. This team is really good. One thing you could do is make your Bo-Katan pretty quick and then give her the turn meter Kron and make it so that you still go first, or make your Maul, surprise everyone, and make your Maul super quick. He can be made extremely quick and have him go first. Couple different options there, and then of course Canderous will go get the second turn because of all the turn meter stuff. Make sure he has some speed on him as well. Now, this is a team that surprised me a couple times last season, and have surprised a few people subsequently, because I was like, oh cool, I'm gonna place this. Putting SharkT with Echo and Tech is really nice because it makes Echo crazy fast. My Echo's already 366 speed or something like that. SharkT gives another 35 speed, which makes him 400 before you add the turn meter Kron. And this team, man, it is actually really, really effective on defense. If someone fails against it once, I mean, I failed against it like 7 times one match because I was like, I was just totally surprised. SharkT makes this team very impressive, actually. You know, get all the turn meter gain SharkT gets from when you hit any of them. It's good. You should try it out, guys. On defense, this team has legs for real. Of course, then you don't get Bad Batch on offense, which is a little sad, but it's tough to make decisions anyways. And then you also get Wrecker to go with Padme, which isn't obviously the very best thing, but Padme is in a really awkward place in the game right now, and she could really use some help. Wrecker, Ayla's like, hey, I don't have a Datacron anymore. I don't know. Like, this team isn't great on defense either, but it could mess someone up. Like, a good Traya team will just annihilate this. It won't even be close. But I mean, it could also work on offense. I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's tough to find good defensive teams in threes because you want to be so flexible on offense. And I mean, you know, we'll be chiseling it down a little bit more and more this season, but this team could be an impediment in some small way. Probably not. Who am I kidding? But anyways, we've got Lord Vader finally I like this build, especially with the new Datacron that he's got. He's going to be crazy strong even without Maul. Now, you could swap out Grand Admiral Thrawn with Maul, and it's probably a slightly better team. However, with the new Lord Vader Kron, I do think that Thrawn might serve a better purpose here, because he's going to be able to tie up one character who's trying to counter you, which is, you know, handy. And then Lord Vader is going to be either ramping up his mastery a lot faster, or he's going to be getting his ult a lot faster if you have the level 9 Datacron. You have Royal Guard, who's a tough cookie to be able to beat. I don't know why I called him a cookie. He probably doesn't prefer that, but I like this version of the team. It really, really makes bounty hunters and BAM teams think twice. Thrawn is just so good with Lord Vader, and you don't really need him. I used to love using the Thridian team in it. Maybe next 3v3, once the stupid turn meter cron goes away. That being said, folks, we're out of time, and we're out of teams. What teams do you like? Go check out my offensive video. I think you can find a link in the video description, etc. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.